Okay, it's live, so let's see if that works. Yeah. If it notified. Oh, it did. That's good. And you hear all the kids in the background. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I was spending the morning teaching, not the whole morning, but I'm trying to teach my husband how to work Facebook, apparently. Jeff, there you are. I'm trying to teach him how to work Facebook. He's, I know. It's a good and bad thing that my husband doesn't know how to work Facebook. So I'm going to take that as a blessing. The babies are still here. I know so many of you got that ginormous pack and play. The brand is called, hey Lauren, the brand is called Regalo, and you could buy it on Amazon. It is seriously the best investment. It's like $60. Go get it. The setup takes 2 seconds. The breakdown takes 2 seconds. So much faster than a pack and play. Look at this little Tootie there. Hey.
It's so big and
Hey.
it's easy to fold.
Someone's ready for his nap that's coming up. So I was like, well, if he naps, I'll go ahead and do a live. Then we can enjoy the rest of the day with family. I did feel that quake. And what's crazy is I was in California the morning of 4th of July. And, oh no, Jeff, I took your tea. Okay, mine's up here. Okay, oh well. I felt it at a restaurant we were at because we were leaving California 4th of July. And we were in a restaurant and we felt that quake. It wasn't too strong though, but it was really scary. I was like, am I getting vertigo right now? I thought I was experiencing vertigo. Jeff was in the restroom with Sebastian and I was like, this just would be the worst time for this to happen. Then last night I felt the quake too. So many of you guys were messaging in. I think California felt it worse. How are you guys doing? Where was like the worst spot that it hit? Because I'm still a little bit, I mean, pack up, get ready. Everybody ready? Everybody's got their bug out bags to go? You guys have your friends that have landlines in the middle of America that you can all contact in case you're all separated. It's go time. I mean, we've been warned for decades about some big bad earthquake that's supposed to hit California, right? We've been warned for decades. And I don't know, isn't it like on a fault line? I mean, that's supposed to happen. The desert, Ridgecrest, it was bad. Oh, Ridgecrest was where it really hit. Yeah, my parents didn't really feel it too much where they are. They're in the Bay Area. Jeez, it's bright today. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. Yeah, the whole house shook and we were just kind of like, I was thinking about my mom though, because like I shared last week, she's the type of person that gets paralyzed in situations like that because they went through like a 9-point something earthquake where 3 days in like a provincial area, dead bodies all around them. Like my mom got traumatized back in 1990 with this terrible earthquake in the Philippines that she just freezes when there's an earthquake. I don't know what that woman saw. I mean, my dad has tried to share that story with us several times, and it just sounds like something out of a horror movie. They had to get helicoptered out of this province in the Philippines. So my parents have always been ready. Like, we were in a country like the Philippines, which had actual martial law, where we had an actual dictator running the show. He was like in control for 20 years. There was curfew. You weren't allowed out after a certain time. You weren't allowed guns. I had uncles that were burying their guns in their backyard. One of them got caught. He was supposed to be executed. My aunt had to plea for his life. Like, real dictator type stuff, okay? Just side note. And so my parents were always ready. We always had passports. Like, all of us, our first passports were babies in them. We all had passports by like 1 month old. So bug out bags are like your just emergency bags. Like, time to go, you have 2 minutes to evacuate the house, get out, or whatever. Typically in an emergency situation, if you can stay, for us, I'm speaking for myself here, from what we've been through, if you can stay put where you are and ride out whatever it is, whether it's a storm, whether it's an earthquake, that's better than being out there mixed in with all the, But since living in the Philippines, like my dad is still to this day, when he sees my car that's like the gas is close to empty or under half a tank, he's always like, you should have that filled. You should have that filled. Like my dad is the person that takes his car to a gas station just to fill it. Like he's not going anywhere that day. He's not going anywhere for that week. He works from home, but he's like, he needs his car to be filled on the in case. I mean, when you grow up like that, it just kind of sticks with you. And like I said, this generation and what we're dealing with now, we haven't really had crisis like that. Not that we're due for one. It seems like we're overdue for one, though. Our generation hasn't really seen on our land, the perils of wartime. And war would, like right now, we're going through a domestic war. That's why I'm always, for people that are in the military, you make these promises, right? That you're going to protect and defend, but I am always reminding, like, that's on domestic land too. That's not just overseas that you're going to be defending this country. You have to defend it with what's going on here and what's happening here, which is the complete medical tyranny. So we're ready. We've got the whole bug out bag thing going. I feel like with everything going on, we add more to our bug out bag, and so it's getting bigger and bigger. But you only have a set amount of time to leave your house. You don't have that long to get out of town. Your family should be practicing earthquake drills. Like when your kids are old enough to understand, why aren't you practicing earthquake drills at home? You think that the earthquake drills that your kids are practicing at school are doing anything? My kid is not going to hide under a desk if this house is shaking. That's not how it works. They're not going to hide under a desk if there is a armed, gunman at the front door. Like, your schools are not really teaching. Oh yes, I got my glass mug back. It's back in my life. But schools aren't teaching them the proper thing. So you have to be the one to teach them that. You got to teach them like what to do if there's an emergency and they're not around you. Who are they going to call? Like Ghostbusters. What are they going to do? It's okay to be ready, and that's not being paranoid. It's just being ready. Okay? It's just being ready. Like I shared, something's going down. You got to give people just a little bit of a warning, and you got to get out of there. That's it. The people that want to stick around, when there's crisis coming towards them, when the fire's coming down the pipeline, and they're like, I'm going to need a link. I'm going to need a source. Bye, adios. You're not going to make it. Seriously? What? You got, imagine Jesus preaching, right? Talking about the kingdom to come, what's going to happen. Like, he's there with his disciples, telling them what's going on. He spoke to God. He is going to die. All of this. Somebody is going to betray me. And you got those disciples being like, I'm going to need a source. I'm going to need a source for this and a link. Okay, we don't got time for links and sources. This is where I was going with this morning. Links and sources, that time is done. That time is done ski. What do you need to know when you're out in public and somebody wants a link or a source? You have to be as informed as you can. Pretend like you only have 1 or 2 minutes with a person in public that's a stranger. You don't have all day to show them stuff. What if your internet's not working on your phone? You don't have all day to stand there with them at the parking lot or wherever you're at to like go through links and go through sources. That's why those little cards are so great. And if you're like, well, what if I give them the card and they don't do anything with it? Then you gave them the card. You did your part in that transaction, and that's it. And that is it. That's all you're asked to do. That's all you're required to do, right? Half the fun, I can call it fun, but half the fun is, the discovery and the journey part. I'm not going to go down the homeschooling path, but the more I'm looking into homeschooling, a lot of these parents are like, well, we need to do the commune thing and find the parent that maybe one parent can homeschool all the kids while we're all working. But you know what I'm realizing? Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, because this was bad news for me too. Because I'm also like, how can I figure this out so that I can still have some time to get what I need to get done, and to, somebody else could do like the harder subjects with my kids. I'm learning that the best part of the homeschooling is learning alongside your child, because the child is learning so many valuable lessons in that wow, mommy and daddy, they're never done learning. Like we're learning together. Like, there is this beauty that I am discovering in that crap. Now I really need to get rid of everything. I really need to sell everything and go move far away and just be on like a small plot of land that's somewhat fertile where I can go, I didn't like that answer either. Okay, I didn't like it, but that is the answer. The beauty in the homeschooling is not that you still get to go work your crappy 9 to 5, and have enough money to pay for your Netflix account and your Amazon Prime. It's to be your child's teacher and also learn alongside your child. And we can get more in depth into that kind of stuff because right now, you guys, they're going to be going to more of like a private like charter. They got accepted. And next month, I'm going to be checking out the teachers. Really, I just know what my answer is going to be. Like, I know after 5th grade, even if it's private school, even if it's any of that, even if the class sizes are significantly smaller, all the good things with the school, you're still leaving your child's education in the hands of a stranger. And I don't want to be a big hypocrite. I don't judge parents who still want to do the public school thing. I just know what is best, okay? That's why hear me out on this. I'm not here saying you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm telling you that is the best thing to do, but here's currently where I'm at, okay? Here's public school, here's like where Jeff and I are, and then here's like the ultimate, which is none of this stuff matters. What matters is, this is hard. Like, I hate this about myself, because I wish that I was able to live like 10 more years before I found out the truth and stuff like this. Because then I could be like in my mid-40s and be like, oh, honey, we didn't know. We didn't know. Oh, well, you can do that for your kids and your generation. I hate that I have to know certain things now while I'm young. That sucks. That really sucks. Because I feel like I didn't have enough of the fun. It's kind of like, this sounds terrible, but my parents too, like, they got to live until their mid-20s without Christ. Not got to, like, that's terrible, right? But hear me out. They got to discover Jesus in their life in their mid-20s versus being a pastor's kid. You know how messed up we all are. We're born into it. So we find ourselves somewhere in our 20s and 30s questioning everything, and that's okay to do. That's really the norm. You want to be able to question everything, but we were raised just like, here's Sunday school, that's where you're supposed to be, and you get that hour a week with Jesus, and then we pray at dinner, and you're just like so confused, and you see the good, the bad, and the ugly with pastors and the church, and you're just like, okay, so it's confusing. This is why we're all a little bit like, but for me, whenever I hear stories about my parents' past and things that they would do, their excuse was always, we didn't know Christ. We didn't know of Jesus. And we didn't. So it's just like, wow, thanks. I don't get that excuse then, I guess. I have this just like conscience in me since birth. And they're like, yes, you do. And that's also probably why you're still alive, because we've prayed for like angels and things over you constantly. And, I have to believe in him, because my parents, I think by the time I turned 14 to my mid-20s, literally every day we're praying that God send someone into my life that can put up with my shit. And in comes Jeff. And he's an angel. He's a saint. Those who've met Jeff are like, this is, So that he's literally like my my reason for believing in God. You guys, if you were there at my wedding, I swear, every speech was like, okay, I get it. Every speech was like, Jeff, you know what you're getting into? Jeff, you know, like, hello. You guys should have seen me at my wedding. I was like, I'm going to kill all of these bitches here on this. Anyway, he knew what he was getting into, though. So, yeah, the links and the sources thing, done. Dunsky. No more time for links and sources. What do you got to tell a person that they need to know? There's only a few things you need to know when you're out in public with a person after you give them the card. You know, you got any links and sources? No, we don't have time for links and sources. Everything's being censored. Here's the stuff that you need to know, okay? They have never been confirmed to increase immunity or resistance to disease. That's one. The manufacturers refuse to conduct any research to prove the vaccines increase resistance or immunity, okay? Like, babies don't even have fully developed immune systems. This is the big one. Your baby, literally, it's on all the literature that's still out there and it's not taken down. Go search your PubMeds, do your NCBI studies. They have so much text on there stating that the baby's immune system is not even fully developed in the first year. So why are we giving them 26 different vaccines in the first year? That their immune systems are supposed to work with and combat, but they don't even have a built-up immune system. They are literally the only party that should not be vaccinated, especially in the first year. That should just, if somebody told me that when in seed planting, I would have been like, wow, okay, sold. This is crazy. That would have been like the only wake-up call that I personally would have needed. My baby's immune system is not even built. And here's what's sad and disgusting. You have parents that hear about that. I know of a few personally that they wait until their baby is a year, and then they do a handful. And that is all it takes. And next thing you know, baby is no longer walking. Baby is no longer making eye contact. Those parents get gaslighted. They wait until the immune system develops. It's just so sad. How about, this country propose more about breast milk? Like, the thing is, with all of this information, the more you know, the less time you honestly do have getting out there and talking to people about this stuff. The less time you have. There is a blatant disregard for the most basic scientific protocols. It's just so beyond obvious that this pro-vaccine science that we got flying around, okay? It's so, and then I've got obviously the big ones, VAERS. Why do we have a National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act? Let people know of that. Hey, just so you know, there is this act. Your pediatrician probably doesn't know about this, but there's this program that was created after this blanket immunity thing in 1986, like that. Or just be like, look, read this, go home, do some investigating. Because the thing is, you guys, you're going to sound like a really bad infomercial, right? You're going to sound like, after you've listed 20 things, you're going to be like, but wait, there's more. Because it gets crazier. And you can't be at the very end of this 3 hours in going, and by the way, you don't even own your kids. Like, you don't own your kids. The reason they could do this to all of us is because you don't own your kids. Have a great day. And it's just like, why would you do that to yourself, and why would you do that to other people? You're just going to prove to them that not thinking is easier, right? But there's always more. Exactly, Bridget. There is always more. You're just going to prove to them about, I'm at a loss already, because here's the thing with these links and sources, and this is key, okay? If you're going to be an unintelligent person, so this is why I can't really talk to people like in person and get it too far into it. If you want to keep vaccinating, that is fine. The rest of us, we will bid you adieu. We will bid you good luck. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck. You're just going to have to keep on trucking. But the majority, okay, of the people that are not vaccinating are actually upper to middle class people. That is statistically the truth, okay? And many of us have post-secondary education degrees, okay? We're not just a bunch of I guess, you know what, I can't even call it idiots anymore, because whatever society dictates is, you know, not smart. You're just like, you mean because they didn't come out of your indoctrination center programs? But you have to understand the argument, I guess, from the other side. That other side will never convince an informed parent, an informed person, somebody with like basic critical thinking skills, that injecting poison in kids is safe because some order taker that works in a lab, right, that's funded by these very people, was paid to find the result that they wanted, okay? That they wanted to finally get what? Literally, those order takers too, you look at them and you're going, why did they sell out? What made you sell out your soul and your life? Why do most people sell out? Because they wanted the big house to live inside, the American dream, which is complete immoral living. Okay? So, goodbye. Thank you. Adios. I don't want that kind of science. Who wants that science? It's funded by... That's not science. That is not science. That you're going to create a product and then your in-house team is going to test that product that you profit on. Goodbye. If that's the source you want, I need the proof from the CDC themselves and no. Just no. Think about what people are selling their souls for. And it's just really sad, because I've gone through some moments in my life too where I'm like, why did I make that call, and over what? Over what? To have like a big kitchen? Guys, I don't even really like to cook. I can go off on too many tangents with this one. What do I want that for? I don't know. Do you? What do you want any of that for? Like, the purpose needs to be to create, if you can create these human beings and have it so that they grow up with you, and when it's time for them to leave the nest, they don't want to leave the nest. Or when they do leave the nest, they're checking in on the nest all the time because they really miss the nest. Congratulations, you have successfully done what is parenting. You've successfully done it. Oh, where is it? Oh, he's getting ready for his nap. She's like, I hear Enzo. He's getting ready for his nap. That's really all this is. That's really all this is. It's just creating these legacies that are, oh, I hear him too. He's probably downstairs with the kids right now. My husband's here. I didn't just leave my baby alone to not be attended, FYI. And so I was getting a lot of comments yesterday after yesterday's live, and because I shared about a few things and what I do when I'm out and about. I was laughing when I saw my husband's Instagram stories, because I was like, what are you doing putting Learn the Risk cards in lawnmowers at Home Depot? What are you doing at Home Depot putting in and he, like, I just thought it was so funny. And he came home though and he's like, what? Guys need to know about this stuff too. And I was like, you're so right. I'm not judging you. I don't know why I thought that was weird, but he's like, well, there's many guys that are out there. What if the guy's like still single and doesn't even have kids yet? Like, you could plant that seed before, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because actually in this movement, the hardest to convince are the husbands, right? They're the hardest to convince because their mind's also on a million other things, and they leave a lot of that work to the women. They leave that like kid thing to the women. So yeah, now it's like, every time you discover one place to leave the card, your mind then just blows up with more. Jeff is like, we should be sticking those Post-its every time we're filling up the tank for gas. Yes, because it's a Post-it. You just stick it on there when somebody's getting gas after they do their payment. They have at least 5 minutes that they gotta either stand out there, look at it. What is this? They're stuck there. That's a great idea. Okay. I'm like, Jeff needs to. I'm like, what other ideas do you have trapped in that little mind of yours? Because I'm here thinking maternity sections, baby sections, baby stores, baby. But yeah, I'm reminded, you know what, you guys, a lot of this, you need to be hitting up kids that are getting out of high school, going into college because of what they're demanding that they get in college. Well, actually high school now too. How about waking up You got to get out there and get creative. Where can we wake people up? You have to go on learntherisk.org, Heather. Learntherisk.org. You gotta let's get creative together. What about the 12 and 13-year-olds, the 9-year-olds that this stuff is going to be offered to their parents, right? The HPV one that they're gonna say it's to prevent cancer, and we know that that's a lie. Why don't we stop it there? Like, it doesn't have to be the mom that's already pregnant. It doesn't, I mean, honestly, global, everything, everyone. This is not just about the babies. We know this is about the adults too. So Jeff throwing those things into lawnmowers, literally just my mind this morning was like, oh my gosh, it's everything and everyone. Because if a parent has takes that, goes online, looks at it, they will either think about their childhood, they're gonna start piecing things together, okay? These things need to be offered up outside of recruiting centers for military. I said it. You know why? Because there's still, and I have a military anthrax highlight, there still is a chance before they sign over their bodies to the US government where they can get certain exemptions. But if they've already signed over their body, it's a little too late. They can't get that exempt anymore. But why are we not, you got, literally your options are endless. And you know what? They're gonna wish that they didn't censor us online, because they got us going boots to the ground, which is what we need, okay? That's what we need. Let me see some of these comments, because like a bunch of them just came rolling in. Libraries, good. Adult youth sections, yes. Okay, Liz, that's perfect. Movie sections at the store, video games, beer boxes, let's go. Everything. You guys, these are some great ideas. Men need to be woke. Put them in some video games, okay? Get those little boys woke at 10, 11, 12. Get them talking about it. Get them going on Reddit. Who cares? They're going to see facts on these cards, and the woke in them that is not completely chalked up with the fluoride yet, okay, might get to sit back and realize there is a reason that this stuff is being censored. A reason. Bar bathrooms, I love it. Everywhere. Guys, our playing field just expanded. And this is what I need to say, okay? I need to say this because there are many people that tell me, like, they're praying for me, they care about me, they care about my family, they're praying. And you know what can help me? What can really help me is if this is happening everywhere. Because then it's not just in the little town that I live in, where all of these cards are being dispersed. It's gonna be everywhere. That really helps. So if you have a favorite truther that you're like, wow, I wish I could be as brave, I wish I could put my face out there. Look, here's the good news. You don't have to put your face out there. You don't have to put your face out there. You have to take one seed every day and plant it. Give yourself a goal, right? Every day I'm just gonna plant one, even if it's likely gonna end up in the trash. Just tell yourself that, okay? One. And then the following week, do 2, okay? That is gonna help people like me and all the other advocates that are okay and not okay. We're not okay. It's a lie. But it's gonna help all of us, in the whole getting brave and putting our face out there. It's not, what I'm saying is thank you and I appreciate the prayers, but it is not enough for, if you have hands that move, if you've got feet that can work and walk, and if you've got a mouth, you know what I mean? If you're not blind, if your body is still physically working, what is it for you to plop one seed of truth? One seed of truth. Then I get asked this. After I told you about it yesterday, okay? So some people are like, how do you find more moms like you then? I wish I could find more people like you. Have to start speaking up if you want to find people like me, because we're all over. I get messages constantly about people who go, I wish, like, I feel like you're the only person that gets me. I listen to you every day because I don't feel alone in the world. You're probably messaging me that from a community where there's at least 1,000 of you who are also afraid to speak out. And you're missing out, is what I'm saying, and I've been saying that. What do you do? What about the people that are like, but what do you do, Talia, if you get caught? What do you do? You guys are gonna love this. First of all, you have to see my IGTV called Evil Does Not Deserve the Truth, because it just doesn't. Biblically, it doesn't deserve the truth, right? Historically, it never deserved the truth. If evil is being evil, they don't deserve the truth. So I'm gonna be here to encourage you, because here's what I do in the instances where I feel like I'm about to get caught. First of all, like I mentioned with those immunization centers, those immunization clinics that I go to and I get kicked out of constantly, there's always this like 2 to 3 minute window when somebody in charge notices you and you're like, I got 2 to 3 minutes left, right? What do you do when you have 2 to 3 minutes left in it? Maybe I played too many Mario video games when I was a kid, but when you have 2 minutes left, you know what happens in my head? I get the immediate dun, 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 dun. I get that tone that goes off in my head, and I'm literally like dun, 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 like, and I am now extra running through trying to be okay. I'm not trying to race out the front door. I'm like, I gotta drop at least 10 more of these because they're gonna stop me soon. And that is what is going on in the back of my head. For my brother, it was whenever you're feeling pressured, he would get that. I think it's like the Speedy Gonzalez music would play in his head. And so my brother was the biggest pest growing up. And he would play that Speedy Gonzalez music all over the house. And me and my sister, Jed, stop. But I get the Mario music, you know. I don't quit. I'm not like, I got 2 minutes left on this level. I guess I'll just die. I'm like, I gotta get as many more coins. I gotta race to the end. I gotta do this. Yoshi, get me my Yoshi. I gotta fly. Like, that's how I am. And that's how you guys should be too. Because here's what can happen. Here's quite a few things you could do with that. All right? You're in like the pharmacy or whatever, and you're like putting this into whatever. Okay, let's say this is a, hold on, this thing. I got to give you guys examples because I'm like, man, do none of you guys play games? Do none of you guys play games? Let's say I'm at a store. I wish this book was at stores, right? Let's say I'm at a store and I'm like trying to put these in some books. And I'm going like this. And somebody comes up and is like, excuse me, what are you doing? Okay? Which the first thing is try not to laugh. Okay? First things first, try not to laugh. Because you're not vandalizing anything. It's a Post-it. Okay? So try not to laugh. Excuse me, what are you doing? This is what I do. This is what I would do, because it hasn't happened yet, okay? But let's say it happened. Oh, this? Can you explain this to me? What is this? This is in so many of your books. Have you noticed? And they're going to be like, no, we haven't. We thought you were putting those in. I'd be like, no. I was like flipping through all these books going, what is this? And they're going to take it and they're going to be like, what is this? I'll be like, isn't that crazy? I mean, is that true? Do you believe that stuff? There's one. If they're legit like, ma'am, we saw you putting this into the book, I would just be like, you must be mistaken. Do you have proof? And if they're like, well, we have video cameras, I'll be like, can you go and show me those video cameras? And while you go back there to look at those video cameras, can you please read through this and let me know if any of it is incorrect? I don't care. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? This girl was putting a Post-it in the... What are you going to... Literally, think of every person that comes to your house, and I love them, but think of the people that come to your house and solicit, okay? And when people come to my house to solicit things, I love to solicit them back. It's got to be a personality thing. I don't expect for everybody to do this, but those people at the mall too, if I have time at the mall, usually I'm running away from the people at the kiosks, right? But if they get me to go over to them, they want to put some all natural, Israeli salt on my hands from like the Dead Sea. And I'm like, thank you. That was really nice. They want to talk to me about my hair. I start talking to them about other things too, to where they're ready to boot me off their kiosk. Okay? That's okay. They're ready. They're like, yeah, okay, you can leave. I know I can leave because my hair looked okay to begin with. And thank you for the lotion. The final lotion boss. I love that meme too because you're like, dude, this guy. That's just how it's gonna have to roll. That's how it's gonna have to work, okay? That's everywhere. That's everywhere. Find me outside doing any of that stuff. Like, how do you do this? I mean, anybody that's worked a commission-based job, or like the year is ending or the month is ending, right? And I know many of you out there do this. What are you doing the last 2 to 3 days of the month? You're going harder, aren't you? You're going harder. You're not saying, well, this month was crap anyway. I guess I'm just gonna make nothing. No, you're going harder. Just like when I was a waitress, you know, that last round of tables, I'm like, I better be extra nice right now because my kindness is going to make a difference in an extra $50 in my pocket. That's how it's got to go down with everything. Same with putting these things out there, you know? I can challenge any of you to do this. If you're too afraid to talk to your pediatrician, and if you're too afraid to, for whatever reason, not go to a well check, you already know what a well check is about, right? If you're at your next well check with your husband, take one of those cards, okay? Leave one in the bathroom. But take one, and when you're with the pediatrician, be like, I saw this in the bathroom. I just thought you guys should have that. Drop it in front of them. Be like, what do you think of this? Somebody left this in the bathroom. I think that that's crazy. Like, look at these claims they're making that these vaccines have formaldehyde in them and aluminum. Isn't that crazy? How dare these people? And then when they look at it and they go, oh, wow, thanks for showing that to us. Guys, I got many more ideas like this, but you're going to all think that I'm like a little bit, but that's like one more thing. Catch these nurses looking at this. You know, this is saying that there is a vaccine injury, you know, thing where $4 billion has been paid out. Is that true? Or this is saying that when kids get injured that you have to file it with VAERS. Is that true? Watch them not even know what the heck VAERS is or how to file a report. Do it to answer a lot of questions that you've got going on in your mind, okay? Let's hear a crazy one, as if those weren't crazy enough. I'm not about to incriminate myself. Not on this IG Live. I won't do it. I won't do it. But the checkout at the supermarket, everything. If somebody catches you and it looks like you're touching it, all you're doing is just making sure that Post-it sticky stays, you know? So if they see you doing that, excuse me, what is that? I'd be like, you tell me. What is that? So, moving on. You tell me, dude. You're the nurse. You tell me. What's all this about? You're the pediatrician. What is that? Crazy. Why would this be in your office? They'd be like, it wasn't in my office. I'll be like, that's where I found it. Why would this be out there next to the brochure that says, you know, there's 1 million kids dying of the measles, and this one is saying that there's only been like 3 deaths in America in the past like 2 decades. What is this? Why would you guys do that? That's kind of conflicting, don't you think? And they're gonna be like, yeah, that is kind of conflicting. I wonder who left that there. Be like, I don't know, but I just need you guys to know that that kind of stuff out there, that makes your whole practice look really bad. Look at this. This one says that you get paid $400 for my kid to stay on the CDC schedule. Is that true? That can't be true. That can't be true if you care about my health and the health of my kid, right? Who is lying? Who is lying? Because that kind of forces them in a really awkward situation. And guess what, Mama Bear? Guess what, Papa Bear? Those God-given instincts that you have, you're going to be able to stand there, watch that person, watch their eyes twitch, watch their mannerisms change, watch their body language, and you make that call. You make that call because you've just flipped the script. Because they can now no longer intimidate you with these fear tactics. And if they do and use any of that, that's your answer. That's your answer, boo. You know now. You know that I can't be in this place. This place does not care about my kids. This place cares about money. This place cares about these kids being, they need 63%, and that number is going to rise, but they need 63% of their clients, right, to stay on this schedule in order to keep the lights on. Guess what? The lights are on. All our lights are on. You need to start calling people out. You need to start shaming people, because if you don't, babies are dying. Babies are getting injured. Babies are getting maimed. This is no longer about how you feel, you being embarrassed. I just don't want to look bad online. I just don't want to. Guess what? There's no looking bad online anymore. You're not going to be able to use the internet the way that you want to use it to begin with. So goodbye to looking bad online. It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard. And if you guys want to send me stuff to just feel encouraged and extra, then great. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. You know, it could be anywhere you go. Anywhere you go. I go into my car, literally half the time I'm getting into my car after being at the grocery, there's something sticking on my car windshield. I'm the type of person that's like, you have to think like a criminal to catch a criminal. So I don't grab those things because I feel like somebody could come and mug me. So I don't grab those things until I park at home. Sometimes those things actually work and stay on through the wind, okay, from being on a freeway going 60, 65 miles an hour. But they stay on, and then you look at them, and it could be anything. It could be something about the Bible. It could be a promotion for a nightclub. It could be, but what do you do with that? If you don't like it, you just throw it in the trash. It's no big deal. You're not calling up the nightclub. Excuse me. Yeah, hi. I was at Vaughn's, and I'm getting really sick of these 4x6 postcards that you guys are leaving on my car window. They'd be like, then you're sick of it. Just throw it in the trash. Just throw it in the trash. Don't go to the club. You know, who has the time? It's the same people, I tell you, the same people that are going to complain are the same people that go online after having a bad dinner, meaning they went out to dinner with their loved one. It was supposed to be a fun experience. They ordered something that they hated, okay? And instead of going home and just like making love to your husband, you went online to write the restaurant a bad review. It's like, be normal, dude. If the food sucks, tell the manager while you're at the restaurant, okay? Have some balls. Say, hey, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I really didn't like this that much. Is there any way that, you know, and they'll be like, yeah, what do you want? Because this is America, and they'll still do that for you. Try to do that in any third world country, they will laugh at you. They'll be like, you ordered that. You ordered that. You're going to have to either eat it or order something else, but you're not getting a refund. You're not getting a refund. Don't. Guys, this is what I mean, and that's why I had posted up that thing. When you're like, why would God send me into this rocky terrain? It's because your enemies don't know what to do when they're out in public. And the enemy right now, which are the paid pro-vax troglodytes, okay? They don't know how to compose themselves without the keyboard and the monitor. They don't. They will flinch. They don't have any of the facts. They will lose all credibility. So that is where we belong, out there. You don't need to know as much as, you know, any person that you look up to in this movement. You don't. You need to know just like 5 little facts. You don't even need to be able to speak, okay? You don't. You just need to hand something over to somebody. And yes, I learned that Learn the Risk has Spanish cards. And if you ever find yourself in an area where, guys, go to the Latin meat market, go to places like this, because they are being the least informed, these communities, because they're being promised the freebies, all the basura. You just got to get out there. And if somebody catches you and you don't know what to say, or Flint, don't say anything. Just be like, oh, bye. Run out of there, you know? Who cares? You know what you should be more concerned with? You should stop being concerned with the people that are going to be against you finding this. You got to be concerned with that mom-to-be, okay? You got to be concerned with that kid, with that 9-year-old who thought that they were just getting a video game, right? But they have an HPV visit coming up. That's who you have to be concerned with. That's what you got to get all the negative, what could happen, who could catch me out of your mind. Start thinking, who is going to luck out and see this? Who does God want to receive this? And that's it. Start every day off, obviously, with prayer. Just who needs to see this? And that's where you go from there. What kid needs to go home and tell their parent, I don't really like this information coming up. These are the ingredients. Like, none of this has been looked at. Then all you're doing is starting conversations, and that's okay. Even if the conversation ends with, we're going to go and do this. Start the conversation. Because I know I shared last night, and the thing is, I don't want to pull up the group because it's a Facebook group where that mom shared her baby after the 2-month shot that was like, guys, you guys saw that picture, right? I mean, we had to blur out the baby's face. But the post on Facebook is, it's not shareable. It's in a mom group. And the comments, you guys, 8 hours into comments, initially she started off when people were like, that's an adverse reaction. Don't do that again. File a VAERS report. You got all of the good, this mom who is dealing with her baby practically fainting and screaming its brains out because the baby did get the DTaP, and we know what the DTaP scream is, right? That's the baby's brain is swelling. But if you say your baby's brain is swelling, you need, many of these moms online in these groups are like, don't shame her, don't shame her. P.S. You guys, stop inviting me to these groups because I end up in these groups and then I end up just like, because you invited me, I'm going to just post away, okay? I'm going to post away, and they likely kick me out. The admins are always like, we deleted that comment. Blah. Guys, this mom, right, all that was trickling down in the first few comments too were how to detox her baby. You need to take this oil, you need to take this, you need to take that, Nobody offered TRS, which was great, which was really great. But they were like giving her all of these things that she needed to do for detoxing. And I was like, why is everyone giving her detox remedies? I scroll down a little lower, and this mom, within an hour of this post that she made, said, we do plan on still vaccinating. I was like, nope, that's it. That second round, after your baby's body is already reacting like this, that second round could kill your baby. The admin deleted my comment. But they didn't delete me from the page. I went back, eight more hours passed by or trickled by, and I'm seeing that the same mom posted, I don't think we're going to go in for the second round, right? Like, her posts were now like she doesn't want to vaccinate anymore, which thank God, because I think my post was like that second dose can do this, and I was like, there is no amount of detoxing. Every detox that you're going to do is going to be completely futile if you're still going to take your baby back in. And that is the truth, and I don't care. I don't care who that offends, but that's the truth. What are you doing? Like, I'm going to take my baby in and I'm going to it's okay, I'm going to give him an Epsom bath. Have you seen what one can do? Just one foul up? One shot is all it takes, okay? So some people need to hear things like, Gah! And other people are like, well, you can do this, you can do that. That's, that's fine. But doesn't that tell you everything here? I got a quick thing too with the people that do want to just be like, vaccinate but detox. First of all, no. Second, besides the fact that it can just take the one shot, that could be it and do them in. Here's the third thing. If you're like a pro-vax oil person, because there's a lot of those, online that are like, here's our detox remedy. Use peppermint, use this. I got a question for you. If you're so pro-vaccine, don't you rely on all the ingredients in that vaccine in order to work into the baby's system? So why are you detoxing them again? What are you detoxing exactly? Why did you just agree to put all the poison into your baby and now you want the poison out? Because doesn't it work? That's what I have to say to these moms that do this when I'm tagged in a lot of these posts. These oil moms that are like, do this after vaccinating. Okay. No, don't do that. Because you need the vaccine to work, don't ya? Is that kind of like your way of admitting that there's poison? Because what are you detoxing? You're not detoxing the good stuff. Are you trying to detox out the live virus you just put into your kid? Because doesn't their immune system need that live virus? Yeah, but because there's things like aluminum and formaldehyde, and it's like, oh, there is a fly in here. There's a fly in here. At least it's not like a robotic bird. But that's the thing. But yes, but for Meet the Shermans. But you know of many moms that do that, right? Like many people who promote that. It's like, don't promote that. Just like I said when I did that talk on the TRS thing, don't promote TRS to people that are still smoking cigarettes. Don't promote TRS to people that have a crappy lifestyle. The way that they're eating, you know, is not going to change. Like if you know somebody is going to McDonald's with their kids 4 times a week, or they still think, or they still, gosh, this thing paused me, or that they're still like doing these routines that are just crazy. If you offer them TRS, they're going to come back to you 2 months later and be like, yeah, it didn't work. I didn't feel anything. Of course you didn't feel anything, because here's how the system works. If toxins are coming out of your body, you feel better. And then when you put more toxins back into your body, you don't really feel too good. So that's how it works. It's hard. That's why I'm that person. My dad was, he's doing the TRS. And yeah, at church camp, somebody tried to offer him a Pepsi. And I took the Pepsi, put it away, and I was that annoying daughter, and I was like, you're not drinking that Pepsi, Dad. What are you doing? You're on your CBD, you're on your detoxing. What are you doing putting Pepsi back into your system? He's like, it's just a Pepsi. I'm like, here's a water. And, you know, but he laughs. I think at this point, he's just like, oh, my daughter is just, you know, I don't care. He might drink the Pepsi when I'm not around, but I'm like, if you want this stuff to work, and P.S., Dad, if you keep drinking Pepsis, I'm not giving you any more free bottles. That's it. I'd rather give the bottle to somebody that they, you know, okay, Talia, okay, goodness, jeez, Talia, jeez. I'm like, what do you mean, jeez? You can't keep eating queso de bola, okay, at midnight with M&Ms and detox. You can't do that. So, I don't care. I am that annoying person in my family. It's fine. I'm the kind that everyone's gonna like freak out when planning my funeral, because I'm already gonna be dead, and they're gonna be like, I don't know if Talia would have wanted it this way. Yep. So, just like, don't do it. Everyone in my family knows I will be that person that will come back and haunt them if they are not doing what I said that they should do. It's all good. It is all good. Dad, okay, my dad, right? It's like he went through all his stuff, and it's great. It's baby steps, because I know of a lot of older people that won't do it. They'll just roll their eyes. They'll look at you like you're crazy. I'm working on the AirPod thing. The new thing with Apple came out, where you guys, it's terrible. You're going to have zombies and people lining up to get these new AirBud things from the whole Apple whatever. That stuff, the way for it to get from the right connect to the left is through the brain, okay? It's that kind of Wi-Fi. It has to go from here to there. That's absolutely terrible. Sickening. I can't believe that they're even offering this. You have to tell your parents or whoever you know that's using this stuff that they cannot be using this stuff anymore. The laptop thing on your lap, well, it's more the what it's emitting, right? If you look up EMFs, and it's what it's emitting. So we actually have met quite a few people that they've given up their televisions and their screens, and they've invested in projectors. And here's why. The projector is coming from behind you, projecting the image obviously onto a wall. That's how it works. You are not being exposed directly to the light coming from the screen. So the problems with those laptops, as many of you know, and with these screens, and like the girl, you know, all the girls in China that would keep them here, right? Their phones here, and then they end up having breast cancer. You have to think, what is this constantly emitting out? And that's why you don't want your kids too close to them. You don't want the kids constantly touching the screen or the screen to be on their lap. These are things that I still got to talk to my parents about, Doesn't work all the time, but I'm going to be that annoying person in their life that's going to say it regardless, okay? And I don't want to get down that road right now because I was just, there's too many things. This is literally why I've had somebody who comes on here who was like, and I love her, she's great, but she messaged me one time, was like, hey, so, it seems like we're waking up so many people with this movement of medical freedom that what are you going to do when the whole thing's done, when we squash all the mandates? Guys, there is still so much work to be done. We got 5G, okay? We got what's being sprayed on us. We got people who don't even know the perils of acid rain and what that can do to you. Take your pick. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you can constantly be dropping little doot-doot-doots left and right, okay? But for now, this one's a big one because there are states that are completely infringing on people's rights and people aren't even noticing. They're not noticing. Can you do a live on? Yeah, I probably could, but you know what? I wouldn't be really the best person to talk. I could get a guest on that's that's where they spend all their time versus what I spend all my time on because I'm I'd rather have a bit more of an expert on the subject versus I've checked it out enough. But for me, once again, I'm not going to if it's a product that is being mandated, count me in. That's why I got into the 5G thing to begin with, because none of us asked them to put this 5G up. First of all, they didn't ask us. They just started putting this stuff up after enough science has been out there letting us know that this is bad for your health. Okay, these guys are in hazmat suits up there putting on these 5G things. It's obviously not safe. So if it's going to affect my health, why did you not care to get our opinion on it? That's why so it's really any topic, I know I posted that Little Mermaid thing last night, and I'm not going down that. Apparently there's some drama with that. People are losing their minds right now. It's usually the zombie herd that's losing their minds about Little Mermaid not being white. Okay? You guys, we got bigger problems than the Little Mermaid. First of all, if that is upsetting you, and a lot of this too, I'm feeling could be just manufactured, like many of us were saying, just controversy again to make it, pit us against each other. There's one. I'm not saying that there's no racists out there. There's definitely racist people out there. And I'm not saying that it's not a big deal, whatever. But I'm saying that if you are more disturbed by that and you're not disturbed by the fact that Disneyland, okay, the company of Disney is run by a bunch of pedophiles, and, even the Little Mermaid story on its own, the story of the Little Mermaid should bother you more than the fact that the Little Mermaid is not white-skinned with red hair. Okay? The story of the Little Mermaid is literally, first of all, the castles in the original movie look like big penises. Have you guys seen it? It's all very phallic looking. At the end of the movie, the priest, when he says, "Dearly beloved," gets a boner. Hello, that stuff is all in Disney movies. It's in a lot of them. And it's about a 16-year-old girl who sells her soul practically for a guy that she met one time, leaving her family behind. I feel like there's a lot more issues with The Little Mermaid, okay, than, I want to be where the sheeple are. I am excited to hear that song, though. I love that song. I love that song. And it sucks having, once you have kids, when they get to a certain age, when they're like, stop singing, don't sing to that, Mom. I am like, no. I did not go through all this stuff to have you kids, for you guys to tell me that I don't get to sing out loud to songs that I love. Okay? But it's a big pedophile, seriously? It's Disney? It's hard to not support Disney, though. Even if you're like, boycott Disney, I don't want to do Disney. It's really hard to not, because they own everything. Look up the list of all the companies that they own. They own everything. This is boycott everything 2019. This is do it yourself 2019. Everything sucks. Every company is going to sell out. You're going to have to start figuring out what to do with your life, people. Everything is going to... Okay? You guys have an amazing Saturday, okay? I'll jump back on Monday, and we'll we'll get into it more. Oh man, I forgot to talk about the doctor in Canada. I'll post that up after this. We'll chat soon.